Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Film Podcast. The last episode we did is the original 1954 Godzilla, also known in the U.S. Godzilla King of the Monsters from 1956. So today we will be talking about the sequel, Godzilla Raise Again, also known in the U.S. Gigantus the Fire Monsters. So Nick, so what are your thoughts about this film?
Well, for my thoughts about that film is my least favorite and is not one of the best.
Yeah, I agree. It is. I remember watching that film for the first time, and I got when I rented on Netflix back in the old days before it was on stream. That we had to rent it on the computer to mail it to you, and I miss those times. I remember when I watched it when Classic Media first released it on DVD, and I thought I'd be interested to watch the sequel to the original, and I watched the English dub of it, and I remember it was it was kind of okay, but I was surprised that Godzilla showed up fine with Anguirus as a new monster, and his Anguirus' first appearance. In the film, some people call him Anguirus or Angulus or Ankylosaurus. I don't know. I couldn't choose one of those names.
Yeah, different pronouncing name is just really kind of little not comfortable.
Yeah, it's like so like so the story goes but first before the film came out, the Toho are celebrating for the successful for the original film, and it was a big hit in Japan. That they had decided they thought about making a sequel, and they have Godzilla fight another monster. That was according to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when I when I watched the English dubbed, and it's like when Godzilla appear fighting Anguirus. I mean, usually you also hear Anguirus's war all the time. It, and I realized it, right in the middle of the film when Godzilla appears in Osaka in the water, like I usually hear Anguirus' war, and I always thought where's Anguirus? Why is he not appearing? Why I keep hearing his war?
Well, probably it was just had a bad editing for the US one.
Yeah, and is the first time I watched the original Japanese cut is when I owned the new Criterion Blu-ray release.
You mean DVD release?
I well I well I didn't watch that much of the original Japanese cut that much. I always watched every Godzilla film in English dub back then.
Hmm.
Yep, and sometimes I'm not too crazy about the original Japanese language. I mean, it's just I have a hard time keeping up with the subtitles and hard time understanding. But as the years pass, and I give the original Japanese cuts a try and watch them with English subtitles, and I thought it's kind of fun watching them, and I got used to it.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the film. So, so what So, what do you thought of Angulus or Anguirus or?
All right. For my thoughts about Anguirus, that he was one of my favorite monster of all time, and I really loved the design of him.
Yeah, me too. Like I think I know how to describe him. It's like he's like a giant hedgehog because of the spikes. Or yes, when I was little, I thought he was like a giant mutation porcupine sort of creature, but I couldn't tell. I would go with hedgehog.
Here's a little bit fun trivia about Anguirus during the film of that film of Godzilla Raised Again.
What are your thoughts?
If you notice in the film, you can see the carapace start moving.
Oh, you mean the pagoda tower?
No, the Anguirus' spike, his back carapace started splitting during the
Oh
filming.
yeah. I remember. I see some. I think I see some photo shots uh, of it with it's his spikes of his shell. It's like it keeps like bending or falling. Like yeah, that. What I learned is that Anguirus' spikes on the back of those actually, I think it would say it was made of paper mache or cardboard or something. I think it's paper mache. It was made of, and it was so light, and it keeps falling off.
Until in the final shot, later on, it was finally joined together.
Yeah, because they actually glued it.
And could we also talk about the suit actors who portrayed the monster in the film, bro?
Oh yeah, like the original suit actor who played in the original film.
It was Haru Nekijima who returned to reprise his role as Godzilla once again.
Yep. I never get the chance to meet him before he passed away.
Me too, brother.
Yeah, like he's the one that started it all.
Yep, and continue on until Godzilla vs. Guy again.
Yep. And also for the Godzilla suit in this one, it made because but first in the original film the suit was so heavy and it's hard to move, but in this one they made the suit lighter. It makes it easier to move faster.
Yes, as I heard, they were making more flexible during his fight against Anguirus for Haru Nekijima and make him better.
Yep. And then again they use puppets for the fight scene. And sometimes I'm not too crazy about that Godzilla suit. I mean, it kind of because it's hard to tell. It's kind of more like a creepish, cartoonish looking something like. But like for the ice scene, it was like for the ice scene for him, like at the very end of the film when he's like move his eyes around. It's like he was freeze, like would toss his head like that. Kind of looks a little freaky there.
And do you have your opinion of your own opinion about this Godzilla costume of your own?
Yes, and yeah. So what I heard that on the reviews that the Godzilla and Anguirus suits were missing after the film was shot. They don't know what happened to them, but some say they that was brought in the U.S. and somewhere there, but I don't know. That's what I heard.
Well, actually, Toho actually made a replica version of that costume and gave it a name, Gigantus Godzilla suit.
Oh yeah, and then and the film was released in the U.S. in 1959. They call it Gigantus the Fire Monster.
Well, here's a little bit thing you should know. Before it was Gigantus the Fire Monster, originally, where we're supposed to be had the volcano monsters.
Yes, that's what was supposed to be the original title was.
And that it was actually when a production company in America had to get a disturbing the rights from the film and have Toho made another replica version of the suits that we saw with a difference.
Yeah, and the film was they have Warner Brothers bought the rights to the film. Uh, but they never showed the Warner Brothers logo for the U.S. opening. Yeah,
Only
for the
show at the
opening.
end.
Yeah, for the opening of the U.S. version, they just used some old stock footage from like of nuclear bombs and films from World War II.
This is the blast of the atomic bomb.
Yeah, and as you know, for the two different films, for the original cut, when they found Godzilla on top of the ledge or find Anguirus, and when they went to hide, one of them recognized it was Godzilla, but they don't know what the other monster is. But in the U.S. film, they both of them have no idea what they are.
You're right. What are those things?
I don't know.
And they also brought back one of the actors from the original film made appearance. Dr. Yomani actor made appearance.
Yeah, he only had a small part for the meeting scene.
Yeah. And do you know there were two different when he was talking about the history about Godzilla and another creature?
Yeah, and he did mention the oxygen destroyer.
And Dr. Sarazawa.
Yeah, and somebody for the user, they don't know why they don't want everyone to know that it's a Godzilla sequel for the U.S. I don't know why. I mean, I think you know why.
Well, sometimes a lot of things are always make a bad thing to say about it.
Yeah, but because they mentioned Oxygen Destroyer in the U.S. dubbing, and it's a I bet when the audience watched that, it's like when they heard it, they thought they heard this before in Godzilla King of the Monsters, and I thought, isn't this a sequel to Godzilla King of the Monsters? I bet they'll probably know back then.
Yeah.
But until when they released that film on VHS, and they got rid of the title Gigantus. They replaced the title with Godzilla Rise Again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they also added to the Classic Mania DVD release.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember you told me this before. Like you said that they're gonna have Anguirus have fire breathing.
Yeah. From the early storyboard in the movie.
Yeah, but they never did it, and
They probably think that, nah, that's too unrealistic. We can't have another fire breather monster like Godzilla.
yeah, it's like, and you if you rewatch the film, when Anguirus' war, like it makes the Pangona like almost like almost collapse, and then but it was like almost like breaking apart. But that was before the monsters collapse it.
Yeah.
So Anguirus' war makes the Pangona like it erupts. I mean, or
Osaka Castle.
yeah, and for some, I know they couldn't have Anguirus have atomic breath. I mean, but Anguirus' war knocked it down. It's almost like his war, like wind breath is almost coming out, just like in one of the video games, like Godzilla destroy all monsters in Melee and
Oh,
save the Earth.
oh yeah, that part. That's called the Sonic Scream Attack.
Yeah, I wonder if that was. I wonder what that was all about. I mean, yeah, but they added to the video games. God, I miss playing those games.
And there was a suit maker who made Anguirus costume during while working on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they had two of them. One was designed in the head, and the other for the body.
Well, actually, there were two Yogi brothers working on the body of a costume.
Yeah,
and Tocho Toshimicho sculpted the head.
Oh yeah, and if what else I was gonna say? Yeah, and for the dubbing for the U.S., I mean, one of the voices for them was played by George Takei, or George Takei,
or it depends on how you pronounce the name.
Yeah, one of the like for the narrator, and then and for the main character, the dubbing is played by George Takei, and his he does many voices, and
And George once said about when they're doing the dubbing, it's had to make it based on the movement how we talk, like movement of your lip.
yeah, and he also does the for the English dubbing for Rodan in 1956, a year after yeah, Godzilla vs. Again came out.
And do you have your opinion about the music in the film in both versions?
Oh yeah, because they for the US they use stock footage from other films. I think they I don't know I don't remember but they use some stock music and
Well, we got to get more research to find out what Dutch music is for that one.
yeah like and I like the but but lucky me I have the original soundtrack that I bought from iTunes and I just like the original Japanese music track for it, and especially for the opening scene. Like when I watched the original Japanese cut for the first time,
And do you know whose composer it is?
I forgot the name, but I think he's the same person who does the music for Ebra Horde the D or Son of Godzilla.
Well, his name is Masaru Sato.
Yes, Masaru Sato. God, I have a hard time saying these Japanese names.
Well, that's where I'm here to help you know how you say the name for you, including whoever's going to make appearance in your podcast episode.
What can I do without you, bro?
And a little fun fact, Ishiro Honda was originally going to direct the film, but he was directing the other movie at the same time when the film was in production.
Oh, yeah, like it, and also like for the for the scene when at for the scene when Godzilla was biting Anguirus, it's like for the puppet scene you see some blood dripping down Anguirus's neck. It's almost like Godzilla is sucking Anguirus's blood, kind of like a vampire.
Well, they should have called Vampire Goji.
Yeah, or or Vamzilla.
There you go, man.
I mean, Godzilla never bites any monster like that. I mean, in any of the films. Well, I just realized except for like Godzilla versus Space Godzilla, the scene with his spine,
Yeah.
the crystal on his shoulders, and giant monsters all out attack, but he's on King Ghidorah's neck.
Oh,
Well, we'll get to those later.
yeah. I think you probably mentioned Destroy All Monsters. Oh yeah, GNK. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't want to confuse you. Like,
Yeah. And there's
yeah,
also, according to Cinemassacre's Monster Madness, said about there's a worse shot in where Godzilla is not even moving.
oh yeah, for the ice scene, like when he was, yeah, he looks kind of like one of those Godzilla figures, like in the old days, but they should have used a model like, yeah, like this, and
Yeah.
yeah, they could have made it look exactly like this. Except the Bandai wasn't even made back then. Yeah, so Godzilla just defeats Anguirus with his atomic breath. I mean, for they for both versions, they had different sound effects for the fire breathing. I mean, it's like for the original, they used the original fire breathing sound effect, but the for the US dub, they for Godzilla's fire breath in that is kind of almost sounds like a fire extinguisher going on and off, or a fire hose.
Well, it kind of sounds like it. That's what I thought about that.
Yeah, it's like we gotta watch these. We should do like an editing video, putting the two cuts together side by side, like a full movie, comparing to them.
Well, I'm not sure if we could try that because of a copyright issue going on.
Yeah, I know. It's just yeah. I'm just saying it was yeah. So anyway, like, and then when yeah for the scene when all the gang was got together in this dinner table party thing and they're singing a song, like which song I couldn't remember in the original cut, like, but in the U.S. cut it was they were singing "Oh Jolly Me Fella," like
Hmm.
yeah, that was I noticed.
And the only character I liked in the film was Kobayashi.
Oh yeah, well, he was the guy who was in the original Mothra and Mothra versus Godzilla, right?
Well, actually,
I
I'm
th-
talking about the character in the film, Kobayashi character, not the actor. The guy who was having his airplane in trouble with his engine.
oh yeah, like oh yeah, do you mean the one who that Godzilla killed him and that guy sacrificed himself that why when Godzilla killed him?
Yes, him.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. It, yeah, it's like I like his character. I mean, and I just noticed for the English dub voicing of him, I think it was for the actor who does the English dub voice of him. I think he was the same person who does the original voice for Yogi Bear. I bet you don't know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And then in this movie, this is where we first introduced Hiroshi Koizumi made an appearance in this Godzilla franchise before he returned in Mothra vs. Godzilla.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the one I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, well, I was going to get to after I talk about what's my favorite character in the film.
Yeah, and I, I also I like the way how George Takei does the voice of the English dub voice of him.
Oh, come on!
I mean, I know this film is not a good Godzilla film, but I mean, it's not the worst, but it's just I mean, they did their best making that movie, but it's not a very good Godzilla film.
Well, it's probably because they're in rush.
Yeah, that's what I heard. They're rushed to make this film, and you didn't know that they were they were originally gonna paint Anguirus' skin like green.
That's what I heard about it.
Yeah, I thought Anguirus was supposed to be like dark brownish, kind of color looking. I mean, I but I don't know. They said it was gonna paint Anguirus green, uh, but you couldn't tell because it's in black and white. But if you look back at one of the photo posters, you can see there's a little green on it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I prefer Anguirus have brownish color.
Yeah, I go with you.
Yeah, because green doesn't fit on him. I mean, but they're gonna have Godzilla green in the original film, but they said
No.
but they add green color to him in the U.S. poster.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
they also decided thought they want to make Godzilla to be in green color in a following project in like Hanna-Barbera Godzilla and Godzilla 2000.
yeah, they did that. Yeah. So, and I wonder how much time we wait. But I have almost in 25 minutes. So, any of your thoughts about this film? I mean, what do you think of this? Is it like a little boring for you, or is it okay? Or
Well, I get it a little bit a-okay until it was got a little bit too boring with all this character.
yeah, I mean, What I like the part when the planes are trying to bury Godzilla in the ice, and it had for the puppet head was like his ice. The ice was like down to here is when he's firing his breath, and the ice is just slowly just covers it up. It's almost blocked in his fire breath.
Hmm.
I like that part. It's like it was amazing they just bury him in ice until he comes back and King
7
Kong
years
versus
until 7 years later.
yep, King Kong versus Godzilla, and that's the film we're gonna do next.
And before, if you're going to conclude this, I have want to say a few more things first.
Go ahead, bro.
After the Godzilla Race Again was released, Toho decided immediately followed up making a giant monster on their own before they decided to bring Godzilla back in the big screen.
Yeah, like Rodan, Baran, Mothra.
The Mysterians and Gora.
Yeah, that is it. Maybe we should do some podcast episodes of those films.
Well, we can maybe do that separation between Toho Kaiju podcasts.
Yeah, and I already saw Rodan and Mothra, and I gotta rewatch Mothra again because it's been a long while since I watched it on Blu-ray for the first time. But I haven't seen the Mysterians or Varan.
Oh, you're gonna let that flying lizard come and get you.
Not until my lizard. Okay, so almost time left. What I think about this film, and I know it was not as good, and to me it was okay. I mean, for the most part, for the human scenes, it kind of makes my eyes dim a little. Makes it a little sleepy for the human parts. But yeah, I usually pay attention to the monster fights.
I go prefer what the fans wants is monster action, less human.
Yeah, and what do you give that film? Something out of 10 or something? Like, what do you give this film?
I gave this movie 2 out of 5.
To me, I think I'll give this film a 4 out of 10. All right, as almost time left, and the next episode, King Kong versus Godzilla. And we're on just in time for the 60th anniversary of the original Shona film. All right.
And please go subscribe to both of us. We will definitely need a bigger subscriber just like everyone else do.
Yep. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for some updated news.
Thanks for watching, you guys. And we will always stab AJ fans. Bye.
I'll have you in the next video, bro.
Totally. And you don't have to forget about me.
I won't forget about you.
Especially you have more guests.
Yep. And also wearing your t-shirt. I'm your number one fan, bro. All right. Bye-bye, guys.
Sayonara.